All right, today we're jumping into something really cool, a new kind of electric car that's designed to tackle one of the biggest fears people have about switching. We're going to see how a company called Leapmotor is trying to kill range anxiety once and for all.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? The idea of a quiet, zippy electric car sounds fantastic, but then that little voice pops into your head. What if I can't find a charger? What happens if I run out of juice in the middle of nowhere? That feeling? That's range anxiety. And for a ton of people, it's a total deal breaker. And this quote from journalist Francesco Barantini just hits the nail on the head. It frames this whole technology not just as some small upgrade, but as a real alternative that goes straight for the heart of the problem. It's a way to finally say goodbye to all that charging stress. So let's really dig into this dilemma. Because, for all the awesome things about EVs, this one big mental hurdle is something car makers absolutely have to figure out. And look, this isn't just a vague feeling. It is a huge factor in the market, especially over in Europe. People being hesitant to go all in an electric because of this fear is a real challenge that manufacturers have to solve. For a lot of drivers, it's kind of like the final boss of EV adoption. So how do you beat the final boss? Well, say hello to the range extender. We're going to look at one car in particular, the Leapmotor C10, which uses this tech to not just, lessen range anxiety, but to basically make it a complete non-issue. Whoa, just let that number sink in for a second. 970 kilometers. That's almost 600 miles of total range. I mean, you could drive from Paris all the way to Berlin and still have plenty of juice left. This is the kind of number that makes everyone stop and pay attention. Okay, so let's look at the specs, because this is where it gets really interesting. It's got a 215 horsepower electric motor, drives the rear wheels, a 28.4 kilowatt-hour battery, gives you about 145 kilometers of pure electric range. But the real game changer, the magic number, is that total combined range of up to 970 kilometers. So how on earth does it do that? So yeah, how does this whole thing work? This is where we get into the super clever engineering behind what's called a range extender electric vehicle, or REEV for short. Now, this is the most important part to get. A REEV is not a regular hybrid. Your wheels are always powered by the electric motor. You always get that silky smooth, instant acceleration of an EV. That small gas engine, think of it like a backup generator, an onboard power plant that's only there to charge the battery. It never, ever drives the car directly. And this just lays it all out perfectly. In a REEV, the gas engine is just there to make electricity. In a traditional hybrid, the gas engine can and does turn the wheels. With the C10, you are always 100% of the time driving an electric car. Now, it's not perfect. You're still carrying a gas engine, which adds a bit of weight and means you're not totally free of fossil fuels. But for just destroying that anxiety problem, this distinction is everything. And the cool thing is, you get to choose how it works with 4 smart driving modes. First up, you've got EV mode. This is going to be your daily driver mode. Taking the kids to school, commuting to work. You're running on pure battery. And then that little gas generator won't even think about waking up until your battery gets down to 25%. Then there's EV Plus mode. This is for when you want to squeeze every last drop of electricity out of that battery. Maybe you're about to drive into a city's zero-emission zone or something. This mode tells the generator to stay asleep until the battery is almost totally drained, all the way down to 10%. Okay, now this is the road trip mode. This is the anxiety killer right here. In fuel mode, the generator kicks in to keep the battery at whatever charge level it's at, so you can be on the highway, hundreds of miles from home, and you just don't have to think about finding a charger. The car handles it for you. It's brilliant. And last but not least, Power Plus mode. You can just think of this as the boost button. The generator runs constantly to make sure the battery and motor have every bit of power available right when you need it. Perfect for climbing a steep mountain or when you just want that extra oomph to pass someone on the highway. But this car, it's not just about some clever piece of tech. Nope. It's actually part of a much bigger and even cleverer business strategy. This is a massive power play for the European market. So what you're seeing here is a team-up between Leapmotor, a super-fast Chinese innovator, and Stellantis, the European auto giant. Leapmotor brings the tech, Stellantis brings the massive sales network, and a plan to actually build these cars in Spain. It's a total win-win, and it's what makes this so disruptive. It just bypasses the slow, expensive way traditional car companies do things by mixing Chinese speed with European market power.
And check out this quote from their European sales manager. It's just wild. Designing a car from a blank sheet of paper in 14 to 18 months, that's literally half the time it takes the old school manufacturers. That kind of speed is an unbelievable advantage. And hey, the proof is in the pudding. This isn't just some idea they have. It's already working. They sold 35,000 cars in their first full year, and then boom, another 13,000 in just the first 2 months of the next year. I mean, that is some serious momentum. So when you're having that much success, what do you do next? Well, you don't slow down. In fact, it looks like they're stepping on the gas, or the accelerator, I should say. The plan is actually pretty simple, but really ambitious. They're going to double their lineup from 3 models to 6. And they're targeting all the popular spots with a new compact car, a utility vehicle, and a small SUV. This is basically a full-scale assault on the market, trying to offer a car for pretty much everyone. And all of this brings us to the big final question, doesn't it? With that pure EV driving feel, but the convenience to go anywhere, anytime, is this range extender technology the perfect bridge to get us all to a fully electric future? Or is it maybe just a clever compromise that keeps us tied to gas for just a little bit longer? That's really the key question for both car makers and for all of us as we figure out this transition. And on that big question, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for this explainer. We know your time is precious, so we really don't take your interest for granted. We're so grateful that you follow our channel. We'll catch you on the next one.